We just got the April Consumer Price Index, a key measure of inflation. It shows that prices are rising as the Iran war creates oil supply shocks. Let's take a look at this chart. Month-over-month inflation was 0.6% in April after hitting 0.9% in March. The last time we saw numbers like this was back in 2022, when inflation was at a 40-year high. That leads us to this annual inflation chart, which shows that overall inflation hit 3.8% in April. So-called core inflation, which excludes volatile food and energy prices, hit 2.8%. Now, this isn't nearly as high as the kind of inflation we saw in 2022, but it's moving farther away from 2%, which is the level that the Federal Reserve deems healthy for the economy. And if we take a look under the hood, we can see exactly what's driving inflation. It's clear that oil shocks from the conflict in the Middle East are a major factor. Energy prices are up around 18% over the past year. Gas is up more than 28% in that same period. And that bleeds into consumer spending beyond the pump. Airfares, for example, have increased by almost 21% during that time. Airlines have said their decision to raise fares is directly tied to the price of fuel. We're seeing higher prices for food too, which was up more than 3% overall over the past year. Fruit and vegetable prices in particular are up just over 6%. That's likely because farmers are facing higher prices for fuel and fertilizer because of shipping disruptions tied to the war. Let's take a closer look at fresh vegetables. Tomatoes are up almost 40% over the past year. The US imports roughly 70% of its tomato supply, and tariffs are driving up their price. There was some good news for consumers. Smartphone prices were down more than 12% from April 2025, and used cars and trucks were down over 2%. For economists and investors, I think the main takeaway from this report is going to be that inflation is still well above the Fed's 2% target. Of course, we expected to see energy taking the wheel as the main driver of inflation with the war ongoing, but we're also seeing price reacceleration in many other areas of daily life.